Yes.
Okay, cool. So, previously in Tyranny of Dragons, the heroes investigated the old winery north of Greenest to the request of Mirabel Stormchapel. She is Greenest's healer. Mirabel told the heroes that her superior, a half-elf named Aidan Falconmoon, found one of the townspeople unconscious in the winery. This man, his name is Vainan Swift, and he was basically rebuilding the winery for his pregnant daughter. The winery's previous owner, a man named Davian Martikov, presumably abandoned it after his wife and daughters left him, but some believe that he murdered them and fled. A quick incursion revealed to you that the place was desecrated by reptilian humanoids. They basically drew, runes and marks that identified their god, Leogaz. It's an entity, a monstrous entity from the abyss. And after dealing with those reptiles in the winery, you have found a tunnel in the winery's basement leading deep underground. At this point, Roscoe peeked inside, and then he was pulled rather violently inside, leaving all his other friends basically in the dark. So I think this is where we stopped last time.
Yeah, and as I recall, I think it was Mike who led us charging into the hole,
Yep.
followed up by Tal.
Yeah, at this point, Mike Sydrian was going toward, or rushing towards Roscoe and try to get him out. I was actually going towards this table to check out the vials, and that's when all the commotion started happening.
Okay.
I followed up Sydrian.
Okay, so Tal, you and Sydrian rush to the tunnel, and all you see is that it's very, very small. You have to crouch to basically peek and look inside. It's very muddy. Do you have any ability to see in the darkness or any source of light?
I can use a torch if I can move my hands and light a torch.
Okay, so basically you have to light it outside. You need to light it in the basement and then.
Okay, so the hole is really really small then.
Yep.
Okay, I'll before I dive in, I will light a torch, and then I'll head on to.
Here in this commotion, I grab all the vials that I was staring at before, and I rush over there to see what's going on.
Okay.
I'll be standing behind Tal as he's doing whatever he's doing with the torch.
Okay. So you basically grab all the vials from the table, and then you rush after your friends. Tal, at this point, you light a torch and you wave it inside the tunnel to see what's going on there. So what you do see is that this tunnel, a very, very small one, continues for about 10 to 15 feet. It's very, very muddy, and it is supported by what seems to be wooden beams, but a close inspection reveals that these are not made of wood. They look like some sort of hardened mushroom or something like that. Maybe someone took a giant mushroom, cut it, dried it, and placed these beams here. And you do see not exactly footsteps, but you do see markings on the muddy walls and floor. You think that Roscoe was dragged even deeper inside.
Am I aware that Azael is behind me?
I think you do.
Yeah, I'm right behind you, holding a bunch of vials and bottles as I'm trying to put it away quickly. This is something's going on. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so me, Azael, and Sydrian will rush in to rescue Roscoe.
Okay. Roscoe, when you peeked inside, you immediately felt something like, I don't know, 4, maybe even more hands grappling you and pulling you inside. This happened so fast that you didn't have the time to even say something, and then you were deep in darkness. I need you to make a strength or dexterity check, whatever you prefer.
Would it be acrobatics or just dex?
Let me see. So, yeah, it's dexterity acrobatics or strength athletics. You're basically trying to avoid grappling.
Nice.
Wait a minute.
18?
Yes. Let's see. Okay. So, you manage to slip away from those hands that grip you. Do you have any ability to see in the darkness?
I do not.
Okay, so you don't see exactly what is trying to grab you, but you do hear all kinds of hisses. And those hands that touched you, they were very, very slimy and dirty. Roll a percentile dice for me. Just a D100. Okay. Great. So as you try to avoid those hands who seem to be trying to grab you again, you feel that the tunnel that you are in is sloped to one side, leading probably deeper underground. You do hear additional hisses from that area of the tunnel, and just toward the direction up, you can hear probably your friends as you hear glass vials clashing together and the sound of swords pulled out of scabbards. What do you do?
I will shout if there is air. Help! Help! They grabbed me. Who are you? Why did you grab me? Why are you hissing?
So at this point, you hear a voice just next to you, whispers, "Sacrifice, sacrifice." I need you all to roll initiative.
I rolled so bad.
Okay, 3 for Tal.
I'll start repeating last week.
Azael with 13. We have Roscoe with 14. Awesome. We have Sydrian. Ooh, nice, with 18. And the creepers. Okay. So, Sydrian drops even deeper into the ground, and at this point, Tal, because you are right after him, you can see that something in his backpack begins to glow. It looks like, from your point of view, it looks like maybe a dagger, maybe a vial, something at this size, and it begins to glow inside his backpack. Now he doesn't seem to be aware of this. He simply charges inside on his hands and knees, trying to grab at whatever is grabbing Roscoe. What do you do, Tal? Sydrian basically disappears inside.
So right now the path is clear for me and Azael.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Well, there's no point for Tal. This is inside my head to ponder what's going on, but me and I will try my best to rush in and see what's going on here, and maybe eventually find a bigger space for me and the group to move around.
Okay. So you rush also inside, and after about crawling inside for about 10 feet or so, with your torch, you immediately identify Sydrian again wrestling with one of those reptilian creatures, and you do see Roscoe lying on his belly in the tunnel with another one trying to grapple him as well. What do you do?
Okay. So this is my actual turn, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I bring out my weapons, and then I will use my remaining movement speed if I can reach one of them and attack it.
Yeah, so you're basically sliding deeper underground, pushing yourself on the mud. What kind of weapon are you using? You'll probably want something small.
Hand axe.
Okay.
Okay, so swinging. Oh, I make 2 swings. So this is the
Yeah,
first one.
so make them with a disadvantage because you
Okay.
have such a hard time maneuvering in such tight place.
Okay. 20
Yep, hits.
for 11.
Okay, wait a minute. Great. So you managed to, badly wound the one grappling Sydrian.
Oh yeah, I don't have any more movement. So I'm not sure how the rule is for dual wielding. Can I, while I'm using my offhand, can I hurl the other hand axe towards the one that is grappling Roscoe?
So that will be a ranged attack, and since you are in melee, it will be difficult. You can try to do it with a disadvantage.
Okay, hopefully I don't hit Roscoe. I go,
Don't roll one.
have no fear, Roscoe. Talrashar is here. For 22.
Oh, this is amazing. Okay, great. So the hand axe just flies and hits the other creature for 9 damage. Great.
Yes.
Okay. So both of those creatures seem very badly hurt. Both are bleeding and hissing, and they look around kind of surprised by your attack. Let's see. Okay, Roscoe, what do you do?
Question.
Yep.
So my friends have advanced somewhat into the tunnel with a light.
Yeah.
Am I able to see now a little
Yes.
bit what's around me?
Yes.
Okay.
So now the flame of the torch kind of makes shadows dance on this muddy tunnel. So all you see is 2 reptilian creatures on their hands and knees trying to pull you with them. Actually, you and Sydrian, while Tal and Azael are right behind them.
Okay. So I will sort of try and I'll get up and I don't like the sound of sacrifice. That seems unpleasant. So I will try and anchor myself in the tunnel and sort of dig my heels in if I can a bit into the mud. And I'll briefly consider taking my spear out, but I feel like that's kind of unwieldy in this environment. So I'll sort of try and capitalize on the axe that has been lodged into the lizard man in front of me.
Yep.
And so I'll try and pummel him and pummel the axe like sort of deeper into him with a couple of unarmed strikes and see how that works.
Great. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Amazing. You roll. Great. So that's basically a punch, or you're just hitting him with the axe, using it as a stick or something like that?
I think I'm sort of like trying to take advantage of whatever angle like the axe is embedded into this creature. Like, where is it exactly? And sort of, maybe twist it or turn it around or dig it, push it in a little bit deeper to hit a vital organ.
Great. So you basically punch the axe deeper into his shoulder where the axe struck, and you hear the creature it is gurgling and spitting out green and slimy blood, and then it falls face down into the mud. You obviously killed it. The other one seems very confused. and it looks, up and down, as you are advancing from behind and in front of him. It seems like he's going to try to escape.
I would like to take my bonus action,
Yes?
if I may. So I'd like to sort of run up to him and kind of maybe kick him in the back of the knee or something to try and dislodge his position and maybe do some damage.
Great.
Ooh,
Ooh.
not bad.
Yeah. Great. So you kick it, but its knees, cracks, and you think you broke it. The pain makes his eyes roll, and he drops face down as well. So basically, you are all in this very small tunnel, very tight tunnel, with Azael holding a torch, and the smoke is inside your nostrils. The smell isn't very pleasant, and you have two reptilian creatures dead at your feet. At this point, I need you all to make a perception check. Great. Okay, so Roscoe and Azael, you hear deeper down into the tunnel, you can hear more hissing and the voice of a human, you think. But the words are unclear. But you know what, Azael, make an Arcana check for me. Azael? Great. Okay, so with that, you think you identify the arcane words of a spell, but you don't recognize which one is being cast. Someone is casting a spell down below.
I'm gonna start yelling out to everybody. I hear something. I think somebody might be casting a spell.
Is Roscoe still prone, or is he still on the ground?
No.
Do I know what direction this is coming from?
So yeah, you believe that deeper underground there might be another cavern, maybe a larger room. You think that the hissing and the spell casting comes from that direction.
Does it sound like it's directed towards us, or there's malice intent?
So you think it's someone is casting maybe a ritual spell or something like that, because the words are not urgent and full of anger or something like that. There's no urgency behind this spell.
I was going to turn to the group, make sure everybody's okay, and start describing what's going on. The spell that they're trying to cast sounds like a ritual. It doesn't seem intent on us right now, but we need to be careful going forward. I suggest that we look around and assess the area before we go on anymore.
Quick question.
Yep.
Do either of the lizard guys that we killed resemble the one who was running away from us?
You are not sure. They all seem very much alike. You're not really sure.
Okay.
You do notice that their scales have two different colors. One is green, and the other one is maybe a dull gray or even black.
Do I recognize this creature at all? Any previous knowledge or anything like that?
Make a nature check or something along those lines.
Three.
Yes, you are sure this is a giant spider. No, you're not. You're not actually sure.
Azael would like to go and actually inspect the creatures that are in this area. He wanted to do that before Roscoe had ran through with the other creatures, but now is a good opportunity for myself to just inspect them further, rummage through the bodies.
Okay. So all you see is that they're not dressed in anything. As I said, one of the creature's scales is greenish, the other one's is a dull gray or black. You think they might, they are the same species, but obviously they have some differences between the individuals. They are covered with this muddy substance, and they stink like hell. You think that the mud actually helped you to avoid much of the stench, because you are all by now covered with it.
What do you think, guys? I think we should trudge forward since we're here to investigate what's going on. But we should do so carefully. We can still hear the murmurs across. Remember, there's a ritual going on. What say you, Tal?
As he's telling me those words, I pick up my hand axe from the creature and I go, "Let us go." So I will lead the way? Question mark.
So Sydrian at this point realizes that something in his backpack is glowing, and he pulls out something that looks like the fang of a dragon. You, maybe Roscoe, with your inquisitive, you think you saw him once hold this fang and checks it. Right now, I mean, all you remember that it was a regular, fang, probably taken from the maw of a dragon. But now, this fang is covered with lines of power. Maybe runes, maybe ancient symbols, but this fang is pulsing right now. And Sydrian looks at you and says that it never did that before.
I'm getting interested because this is the kind of stuff that I am looking for in general, and I'm gonna ask Sydrian if I can inspect it closer. I'd like to do an Arcana check.
So he doesn't hand it to you, but you can make your check.
$11.
Yeah. So other than realizing it's magical, or that some sort of power goes through it now, you think it awoke because of something in this cave. Obviously something triggered it, but you're not sure why or what. Your roll wasn't high enough for that.
This is very interesting. Something must have caused it to awaken. May have been the ritual or something happening now. Maybe destiny. I'm not for sure, but that glow may give us away. So I suggest you put that away for the time being.
Okay, so he basically puts it under his. He slides it into one of his pockets, so it will be within reach, but not in plain sight. Okay, so who leads the way down?
Roscoe would like to mention that, I asked them why they caught me, and they said sacrifice. I don't want to be sacrificed today or tomorrow.
As Tal hears that, he goes, "Maybe there are more innocent people being sacrificed down there."
I'll make sure you don't get sacrificed today. None of those lizards will ever touch you here on out, as best as I can.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we see a light source anywhere?
Roll a perception check.
I don't see anything.
So the torchlight from that you actually hold prevents you from noticing anything, in addition to the light you already emanate.
I fear that maybe, perhaps, my torch would give away our position. Is there any other way that we could try to sneak around in this area? And then I look at my group.
I don't have any abilities to actually help us in this situation. Maybe Roscoe? I don't know if you have any training.
Well, I can't see in the dark, but
So we shall rush head on with my torch.
can you see in the dark? Can anyone see in the dark?
I don't think anyone can see in the dark.
No, none of us has seen in the dark.
Hey, this is awesome.
This is going to be wonderful.
Well, Russ, as he has training, he scratches his head and he says, well, there's only one tunnel.
Okay.
I say we press on.
Yes.
Okay.
Tal, take the lead. Roscoe,
I will.
stick with me.
Okay. So you continue something like 20 feet deeper underground, and then suddenly you do notice some other light source. And again, this light source, it looks a lot like daylight, but it flickers and shifts, and making shadows dance on the walls of the tunnel that now expands and lead into a very, very big cavern, an underground cavern, obviously. You hear a lot of hisses and the sound of running water. Basically, what you see is that the tunnel, think about it this way, it opens into something that looks like a balcony, obviously made of stone and natural rock formation, nothing that someone created. And this balcony then drops something like 20 feet into the floor of the cavern. And from this vantage point, what you can see is a very, very large cavern, something like, 150 feet across. The middle of the cavern is divided by an underground river, that flows from left to right, and behind it you see a basin. Inside the basin there is a forest of stalagmites and stalactites, and between two huge stalagmites there is a portal open. Next to the portal stands a man wearing purple robes, and obviously he is casting this spell that sustains the portal. And Azael, you immediately understand that just by looking at this, the gestures made by this man. The disturbing thing is that across the portal, what you see is a marshland, in broad daylight, and a horde of these reptilian creatures are basically standing on the other side of the portal. They seem to be arguing. Just next to the portal are something like a dozen of these creatures. They seem to have already passed from that marshland into the cavern. And in addition, next to the purple-robed wizard stands a huge reptilian creature. He stands something like 7 feet tall. And his scales are completely black, and he holds this huge two-handed sword in hand. So all this happens as you simply watch, and all the creatures are preoccupied with what's happening near the portal, so they don't really pay attention to you right now. Azael, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. Great.
24.
Oh yeah.
Great.
You feel a presence, unfortunately an all familiar presence inside of you, and it calls you. Basically nudging you toward the cavern, kind of inviting you. Step forward, I will show you something. Something wonderful. You hear this inside your head. All the rest, what do you do?
I would like Tal will hear, and this is the first time I think that Roscoe has done this to any of you. You will hear Roscoe's voice in your head. I'm going to telepathically ask you, so, can we go back now?
I'm gonna whisper. Well, first of all, how many of the creatures are on this side of the portal? Can we see? You said we saw this with the human who was doing the ritual casting.
Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. 17.
So you believe that there are a dozen of these creatures at this side of the portal, all standing in this forest of stalagmites and stalactites. You can definitely see that, again, they are divided into two colors, which makes you think that maybe they belong to different tribes. And obviously those creatures require a lot of persuasion to go through the portal. You see that the wizard is, or this man wearing purple robes, is sweating and gesturing, trying to both sustain the portal and both shout or invite them in. And at the far side of the cavern, now that you are paying a closer look, you can see a small cave lit by candles, and you can see probably what seems to be this man's quarters, or you see a small table, a chair, some scrolls. You can also see additional exits from this cavern. You count something like 5 scattered across the perimeter of the cavern.
I'm gonna start talking to the group. This does not look good, guys. Best thing that I could think about doing is try to take out the guy trying to sustain the portal.
I do like a hand motion of like a stopping hand gesture to Azael, and I go, we are basically facing an army here. It is best we warn the. Is it a town or a village? Goodness.
It's a small town.
It is best to warn the town about this situation.
I agree. This looks like we're outnumbered by an army.
I have a question. Is there a way, like the chamber of, or what appears to be the chamber of this wizard, is there kind of a way, would it be possible for someone to sneak into that room without being seen? Like, is his back turned to it? Is it kind of very much off to the side?
Yes, it's off to the side, and you believe that if you'll, put your back to the wall and kind of run in the shadows, you can make to this chamber probably without going through the main forest of stalagmites.
So yeah, Roscoe will ask, should I sneak into his room?
I think that getting more information will be great. Whatever you can find, if you think you have the ability to do so, would benefit us greatly.
But I don't want to be sacrificed today or tomorrow.
Then it is an option for you if we should just warn the village right now, or risk getting more information.
What's the distance of the caster from myself?
So you believe it's something like, well, he's in the middle of the cavern, just behind the underground river, you estimate something like 60 to 80 feet.
I can take him out from here.
And you do believe that, interrupting his concentration will probably close the portal.
Knowing this, what do you think, guys? Do you wanna try to stop this now?
Is there a way? So you said the balcony is like 20 feet above the ground. Is there like an easy way to get down from the balcony or up to it?
So it's sloping sharply into the cavern's floor. You can definitely slide down without, breaking anything.
If we're not going to go back, I'm going to go ahead and do what we can to stop this guy.
Okay.
So I want to go ahead and cast Hex on him, and immediately after do an Eldritch Blast.
Okay, so do you need to get any closer?
Hex is a 90-foot range.
Okay.
Is within range of Hex.
Yep.
And the ability I chose for him is Dexterity.
Great.
So you have a disadvantage of that on ability checks.
Okay.
And then, would I have advantage on this since he's not paying attention?
Yep, definitely. Okay, and Roscoe, roll your stealth for me. Okay, great. So Roscoe descends the slope into the cavern's floor and then basically disappears in darkness. As I said, there is daylight pouring from the portal, but obviously the whole perimeter of the cave is shrouded in darkness. So you easily find your way at least up to the stream in the middle of the cavern. Azael, your spells basically hit this purple-robed man, and he shrieks. Immediately after your Eldritch Blast hits him, the portal basically closes, and even one of the creatures who were exactly passing through basically gets severed in half. At this point, all the other creatures look around confused. They're not sure what happened. Let us all...
I did a total of 15 there.
Okay, great. Let's roll initiative.
Ooh, let's go.
6.
Okay. Azael with 6, Roscoe with 16. Very good. And we have Tal with 14. Sydrian, let me check. Oh, so he has 21. And ooh, okay. So the wizard looks shocked. He basically drops to the ground, trying to cover his head. Okay. So Sydrian basically jumps from the balcony into the middle of the cavern, and as he lifts his sword, suddenly the fang in his pockets basically explodes with light, suddenly illuminating the entire cavern. He is very confused to see that happen, and it basically stops its attack. I need you all to roll wisdom saving throws.
Well, that gave away where we're at.
You're not sure because it's a sudden explosion of light.
Mine's an 8. Sorry, I had to roll with advantage. That should be an 8 for the first roll.
6.
Okay.
Roscoe.
I've been rolling on fire today.
Okay. So Azael, this is an 8.
Maybe you
It
should
is
be
an
in
8.
Vegas today.
What? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
So I'm
he was
asking Azael,
talking.
is this an 8 on your wisdom save?
Yes, it's an 8.
Okay, thanks. And Tal, is this a 6 on your wisdom save?
Yes, sadly.
So Roscoe, you manage to basically cover your eyes as this wave of light expands within the cave, and you manage to avoid being blinded. But the rest of you, you are now effectively blinded because of this explosion of light. And Roscoe, you think all of your companions are suffering from it. They all cover their eyes and look in pain. The same goes for the wizard and the reptilian creatures. They all hold their hands to their eyes, and the hissing and the shouting and the shrieking has gone up a level. So that was Sydrian. Roscoe, you are up.
Well, this seems like kind of a golden opportunity in a way.
Yes.
Could I reach the wizard on this turn? Like if I sort of run up to him?
You think so. Basically what happened is that you ran approximately up to the middle section of the cavern, so you can continue straight and reach his quarters, or take a sharp right turn into the middle of the cavern and basically meet him face to face in the stalagmite forest.
Huh.
So this will only cover your move, so you'll still be able to take an action.
Right. Gosh, this is tough. I think Roscoe is brave. He is a brave little halfling. So I think Roscoe will charge into the center of the fray and try and take advantage, both figuratively and in the literal sense of rolling with advantage, and try and spear the wizard.
Okay, do that.
And then, let's see.
Yes. So you do get advantage on that attack. Oh, amazing. Very good.
So I will spear him for 6, and then I will follow it up with a punch to the throat.
Okay.
Ouch.
14 to hit?
Yes. Wow. Okay. So you hit him twice, and he shrieks. He waves his hand, helplessly, and shrieks, "Haslat! Haslat! Take him down! Take them all down!" And you think he means this huge reptilian creature who is also, holding his hand to his eyes. His mighty black sword now lies at his feet. Okay. The creatures will basically wander off aimlessly, trying to find shelter or find some place to hide, and they all blink their reptilian eyes, opening them and closing them, trying to readjust to the light, readjust to the darkness again. You all feel that this effect is wearing down, so you'll probably be able to act normally at the next round. Now, Roscoe, some of them do try to hit you. They wave their, they're holding basically spears, so they wave them around and trying to poke the air, but none of them manage to get through. So you're good. The wizard will try to reactivate the portal. He starts singing again in his, using his arcane. He basically starts spell casting again and tries to open the portal. You can hear his high-pitched voice echoing across the cavern as he tries to activate the portal again. And we get to Azael. Sorry, Tal.
Okay, so with me being, I'm blinded as well, right?
Yep.
Is it still possible for me to move and follow Sydrian?
So you remember where he went last time. You can try to move, but you might get lost because you're basically, following him blindly. But you can definitely try to do it.
Okay, so I'll do that.
Okay. Roll a wisdom check for me as you do that.
Just a wisdom check, right?
Yep.
So,
Okay. So you basically run and still blinded, following the sounds of the hissing and Sydrian's shouts, and then you fall. You drop like a stone into a pit or something like that, and you take 5 points of damage from the fall as your bones kind of get smashed on the cavern's floor. You feel hands pulling you up, and someone in your ear says, "Are you okay?"
yes, voice inside my head.
We are not voices in your head. We're prisoners here. What are you doing here? What is all this noise?
I did not know that we have prisoners here. Quick, where is the key? Or who holds the key?
What key? I can't see anything. There was an explosion of light.
Can I see where they are, or are they like in a cage or something?
So you're not sure. You think you fell into a pit. So maybe.
Oh, it's a pit.
Yep. And you can hear more voices around you, female and male.
So is there like a light source above us?
So not right now. I mean, again, you think you stepped in the direction of the portal, but maybe you've messed up with your, with your direction and fell into a pit, which is probably still in the cavern, but you're currently blinded, so you can't see anything.
Okay. So I tell whoever these people are, I go, my apologies. It seems to be that I am blinded.
Yes, we all are.
Then I guess we should wait till this effect resides, and then I shall make a decision.
Okay. Azael, you're up.
All right, using the direction of the voice again, the ritual, I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best to cast another Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
This would be with disadvantage or advantage, or normal.
So you're basically blinded, so yes, with the disadvantage.
All right.
Okay. So you mutter the words of a spell and hurl your blast, and at this exact point you feel very, very, very dizzy. Like suddenly the cave basically spun around and shifted just below your feet. The blinding spell effect is basically wearing off just as you look around and realize you are not in the same place as you were before. You don't see any of your companions. You think you can hear voices of combat just behind you, but you're definitely not in the same room that you've been before. What you see in front of you is a very, very muddy room, a part of a cavern, and you can hear actually the underground river flowing just behind you. So you think you're in the same cave complex. What gives you a pause is what you see on the wall in front of you. Embedded in the muddy surface of the wall, you can see 3 skeletons. One of them, and all of them are human skeletons, but one of them is, or should I say, 2 of them are smaller. They look like skeletons of children. The larger one still have the remains of a dress attached to it, and it looks like all these skeletons are, well...
At this point, I whispered to myself, Davian.
So, yes, you believe that this is probably his wife and her 2 daughters. And as you whisper Davian, those skeletons start to crawl out of the wall. And you can hear a laughter inside of your head. I told you, it will be wonderful. At this point, the wizard, right next to you, Roscoe, gets up and try in his last forces to reopen the portal, but he doesn't open it fully. Just this small door-like path into that marsh, and he screams, Kel Morath will hear of this. And then he tries to pass through the portal. Now, Roscoe, you get an opportunity attack against him.
Okay. But he is no longer blinded, so just a regular
you're
attack.
all not blinded anymore.
21 to hit.
Oh, amazing.
For 9 piercing.
Great. So as he turns around to flee, you basically skew him with your spear. He shrieks, falls down, half body outside the portal, the other half inside the cave, and at this point the portal closes, severing his body into 2. And we get to Sydrian's turn, who is shaking the effects of the blinding spell from his eyes, and he is rushing, basically charging all the reptilian creatures who stand confused in the middle of the forest of the stalagmites and stalactites. You can hear noises of battle from that direction. Roscoe, you do see him charge and tackle 3 of them, and they all exchange blows. He seems to be missing on all of his attacks so far. And it's your turn, Roscoe.
Okay. What is this big giant lizard man who is sort of near to me doing?
So roll a nature check for me. You might have read about it in the monastery. Probably there was a book there. So you do identify it as a troglodyte. But he is a unique specimen, bigger and seems to be a lot more stronger, maybe a leader of some sort.
Does he seem to be of hostile demeanor?
So you're not sure. He looks confused. Basically, he is looking at the severed body of the wizard, and you think he is unsure of his next steps or next course of action.
Okay. I guess I'll just... Hi, my name's Roscoe. Are you a troglodyte? Are you the leader here now? Now that the wizard's dead? What are you doing here? Do you want to be friends?
I needed to make a persuasion check. You think that saying that now you are the leader, now that the wizard is dead, triggered something. He seems to be thinking about it, considering it. Make a persuasion check.
Oh, wow. 18.
He consider what you said, and then he waves at all of his other friends or comrades, and they all basically stop around him with their spears at hand, still ready to jump on you. And then he says,
Yes, a slut is leader.
Tal, you find yourself, now that the spell is lifted, in a small pit with at least 3 other people. You see the man who talked to you is a shield dwarf. There is a tall human, very much in the liking of Sydrian, the same proudness of a warrior, and a female drow. They all look beaten up, and exhausted.
As I do, they look like they're not wearing any armor and they don't have any weapons, right? They're like prisoner, like wearing rags and stuff.
Exactly. And you think that there is no fence around that pit or any shackles on them. You think that they are simply too exhausted to even try to escape.
I look around in the area. Is there like a possible way for us to climb out or like sneak anywhere that we can?
So actually there is a ladder, a wooden ladder, that can help you escape this pit.
Is it stable enough to hold us?
Yes, you think, but these prisoners might need help to actually climb it.
Okay. I would like to. I'm not sure if I'm capable of carrying one person up this ladder. I'm not sure if
So
I can
you
do
can
that.
make a strength check.
Okay. Athletics or just strength?
Athletic it's fine.
15.
Yeah, so with 15 you manage to help the dwarf up, and you can actually make 2 more checks to help the drow and the human. Even though the human, as you hold his hand, he looks at the drow and whispers to your ear,
We might have to leave it here, yes?
a pity that he had to succumb to his exhaustion.
Insight, please.
Okay. So you don't catch any other, vibe other than this man's hatred of the drow, which everybody basically knows. They are an evil race of, schemers and murderers and assassins.
I yell out to the drow woman. Why is a drow? Why did a drow end up being here?
She looks up at you, smiles, and says,
Well, I was just captured with all the rest during a regular patrol to the surface.
and she smiles at you.
It is not up to me to deliver such judgment from this. For now, I shall aid everyone out from this area. And then we shall discuss this with my group. And then I look at the human guy and I go, bear with me for now, but I must save everyone from this area.
He says, You are saving a snake, but that is your choice. I still owe you my life, so I will do as you ask.
And then he, with your help, climbs out of the pit. And I can assume that you basically stay there on the ladder and help all the rest of them climb up. Azael.
Yes.
Yes.
The voice in your head says, isn't it wonderful? And then you can see that the skeletons, as they burst out of the wall. What do you want to do?
Seeing this, am I able to see if this is real or not, considering I have a voice in my head talking to me?
Make a wisdom check. Ooh.
5.
So you're basically caught in this, zone, or I don't know how to call it, but you're not you don't trust your senses, but you don't have any reason to believe this isn't real. So you choose.
So I already felt
Yep.
that the hex spell is still going on. Am I able to actually sense the fact that the mage is dead?
You think you do because you heard him scream when Roscoe's spear got it.
So I'm going to quickly use or transfer hex to the taller skeleton, the one with the dress.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast against it.
Okay. Shoot.
Seven.
So that's that's your D20 roll?
Yes.
Okay. So the Eldritch Blast explodes on the wall just behind the skeletons, making this rain of mud and basically splattering you all with mud and debris. The skeletons, all three of them, approach you, and then they form a circle around you, holding hands. You think they are dancing just around you.
I'm going to pause for a moment and take this in because it's very strange behavior.
At this point, when you stand and simply watch this, you can hear the whisper inside of your head. Wonderful. They identify one of their own. And then the larger skeleton sends a hand, caresses your cheek, and then she basically takes the two children's skeleton, holding them up, taking them up in her arms, and she flees from the cavern to where you think is the exit from the exit to the winery. Anything you want to do at this point?
I'm going to slowly back away towards the direction of my group. Inquisitive.
Okay.
As to what just happened.
So you back away, and all you can hear in your head is, this loop of a child song, and laughter, and a woman talking to her two daughters. But this fades away as those three skeletons flee the room. Sydrian is standing in the middle of the room, looking at the huge troglodyte, but then he looks at Roscoe. Roscoe, what do you do?
Nice to meet you, Hislat. My name is Roscoe, and I'll extend a hand to him to shake. And I consider introducing him to Nibbles also, but then I kind of remember that snakes eat mice a lot, so I feel like she's maybe safer not being introduced. And I say, so, nice to meet you. Who is, what's going on here? Who is, what was that person's name?
Kelmorath.
Who is Kelmorath? And also, are you still going to sacrifice me today?
He looks at you with his small beady eyes, and then he says, "A slut, leader of invasion. Kelmorath, leader of dragon army." And then he says,
we attack. Look at map. And then he looks at the dead wizard, and he looks at you, and then he says, "You, halfman, show the way."
Oh, where is the map? Where are you attacking?
So he looks confused, but you remember seeing some scrolls on the wizard's desk, not far from where you stand.
Oh, I remember. Okay, I'll go and check the map. I'll be right back, and then I will dash off in the direction of the wizard's chamber.
Okay. So you quickly run into the chamber, and indeed on the table there are several scrolls. But what catches your eye on one side of the chamber, a side that isn't easily visible from within the cavern, you can see a very, very large map of the Sword Coast, and you can see several arrows as if to point, invasion or the advances of an invading army. What you see there that makes you stop is that there is a large arrow pointing directly at Greenest.
Oh. Okay.
Are we still in combat? Are we still?
No, we dropped out of combat.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best to make it back to the group.
Okay.
Are their eyes sort of the eyes of the troglodyte and the other dragons? Are they kind of watching me carefully?
So you think basically the troglodytes are all looking at their leader, and you feel that he maybe mistakes you for something else, or maybe he watches at this whole situation as a quarrel between humans. You have a feeling that he thinks you should, or you are the one who is supposed to show them how and where to attack.
Okay. I guess I'm sort of so in the wizard's chamber. There's a bunch of scrolls on the desk in
Yep.
addition to this map.
Yes.
Is there anything else lying around of interest?
Yes. You find two boxes. They are locked, it seems. You find something like 3 or 4 books lying around. And a bunch of scrolls. Most of them are prose. But you can spend the time to read that. But let me know if you want to. It will take some time to go over all this stuff.
Oh yeah, Roscoe is not a reader with his 6 intelligence, but I'll excuse me, scoop them up and put them in my pack,
Okay.
and start paying attention to those boxes. I will inspect them to see if they are trapped and or locked, and if not, I will try and pick the locks.
Okay. So make your roll. In the meantime, anything?
Which roll? I'm sorry.
Lockpick. I think it's a dexterity check.
Oh, the
lockpick?
thieves' tools.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Tal,
22.
Azael, what do you want to do?
I want to make my way back to the group, pondering what just happened with the skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
It's very curious. That's something that I'm definitely going to want to come back to. But having experience, it's usually not a good idea to go on myself. So let me ask you, did my hex spell... Roscoe's on fire.
So, you were saying?
I was asking, did my hex spell actually successfully cast onto the other creature?
I think it did. Right?
Okay.
check. Yeah.
All right. So I'll just continue back to the group and assess what's going on.
Okay, so you find basically Roscoe has gone to the wizard's chamber and he's ruffling through his stuff. The large troglodyte, his name is Heslut, is basically reining in his people, and he seems like he expects some orders from Roscoe, as weird as that sound. And at the other part of the cavern, you see Tal helping out a dwarf, a human, and a drow up from a pit. Those three prisoners, obviously prisoners, seem exhausted, and the human is eyeing the drow suspiciously, but doesn't do anything, explicitly.
Seeing the situation, I'm gonna let Tal do what he's doing, and I'm gonna go towards Roscoe. And since I already understand that, for some reason, the Slot thinks Roscoe to be their new leader or person who's going to lead the charge onto this to whatever they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to approach Roscoe and do a sort of salute,
Okay.
as if I'm one of his minions or someone that looks to him as a leader.
Great. You also see immediately the war room map, painting arrows at various settlements of the Sword Coast, and one of them is Greenest. At this point, Roscoe managed to unlock the two boxes. One of them is full of gold, with coins minted in a place called it's a land to the south. And the other one has basically a parchment signed by someone named Rezimir, ordering a man named Barzim to command a force of troglodyte and block the northern escape path from Greenest as preparation for an invasion.
So I'm going to look at Roscoe, and I'm going to point to my temple as in signaling for him to get in my head telepathically, as he did before.
Okay. Hi.
Hey, can you fill me in what's going on?
Sure. The big guy, his name is Slot, and he thinks that we're supposed to guide them to Greenest. So I think that we should do that. But of course, we have to let Greenest know that we're coming, so that they can welcome us. And here are some scrolls, and here is a parchment. Maybe you should read this stuff. And I'm sort of emptying the gold into my. Can I sort of? Does the gold fit in my bag?
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of coins, but it amasses to something like 200 gold pieces.
Oh wow! Okay, so we'll count that out later, and then share
Of course.
it.
So
Properly.
as soon as Roscoe hands me these scrolls and parchments, I put them on the table and start going through them as quickly as possible to assess exactly the full scale of this sort of invasion, if there's any information.
So you do find a lot of arrows pointing to various settlements in the north. You don't think you see arrows leading to major cities like Baldur's Gate or Beregast or Candlekeep, but you do find a lot of smaller settlements, such as Greenest, marked, and you can see it all over the map. It looks like there is a big, thing going on, but you're not sure what exactly.
How about the scrolls that Roscoe handed me in the parchment?
So these
can
are
I-
2 spell scrolls. And one of them is basically a poem written to the glory of the 5-headed dragon. It's a long and complex prose, a song, maybe.
So both of these scrolls are spell scrolls, and one of them is a poem.
Yes, exactly.
One of the two scrolls.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, thinking back to Roscoe, we need to do something about this. We can't exactly lead them back to the town to attack, but we can't leave them like this because they'll be suspicious of us. We need to come up with something. Maybe we can bluff them. Maybe we can tell them that now is not a good time and that they're aware of their presence and that they're formulating a plan of attack against them here. That may buy us some time.
By this time, am I able to?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay.
By the way, that was all telepathically to Roscoe since he's still in my head.
By this time, am I able to reach them?
Reach who?
Roscoe and.
Yeah. No problem. You leave the 3 prisoners and approach your friends.
Okay, and I go. What's going on here?
I tell Roscoe, can you do the same thing for Tal? Make sure that he's in on this conversation. And
I will.
Okay.
So yeah, I will inform you, Tal, about that. Kaslat is the new leader, and he thinks that we should guide him to attack the next place on the map, which is Greenest. And Azael thinks that we should trick them into staying here instead. And he,
there's
Can I add a plan to your plan?
yes,
If you two can stall them for a while, I have a few prisoners with me. I can head over to the town of Venus and explain what's going on. That way we can prepare for we can just prepare for like a small siege or whatever they are bringing to the town. I just need a few evidence that there is something going on, and if possible, I hope that you guys could stay alive while we are doing this.
Are you telling us this vocally or telepathically? Because I don't think that
Oh,
Link works that way. To
you can tell Roscoe
Okay.
telepathically, but not you. It's only like a one.
Yeah.
It's only between 2 people.
One
One way. Okay, so I'll do that, but I'll do it like in a very simple way that Roscoe can actually tell Azael.
Okay, I'll communicate his suggestion in maybe fairly simplified terms.
Great.
So I kind of underhandedly or stealthily hand Tal the map, which shows an invasion, or at least the idea of an invasion, as part of the evidence that there could be something going on. And then
Are you guys agreeing to this? Like, I'm doing like a head nod gesture.
yes, knowing Azael, he wants to make sure that he completes whatever the task is that was given to him, and he sees this as a way of completing that task, which is to inform Maribel what's going on down here.
I will make
That's really important.
a suggestion about the parchment. So on that parchment, there are names. Maybe we should use those names too. Like pretend that that maybe we work for Resmir.
Yes, let's use that.
Okay.
What's Sydrian doing at this whole time? Is he over there by the troglodytes, or did he come with us over here at this table?
So he's basically guarding the troglodytes and making sure they don't suddenly attack or jump on you.
So yeah, well, since I know I'm also aware that Sydrian is here, so I'm comfy enough to leave you guys to warn the town, if that's okay with you guys.
After being told this by Roscoe, I nod with agreement to the plan.
Okay, then I shall make haste with the other prisoners to greet us.
Have I noticed the group yet of prisoners?
Oh,
As I was
yes,
walking
I
through?
also I'll also let you guys know about the prisoners.
Okay, so the plan is basically for Tal to scout ahead and rush to Greenest to inform them of this invasion, while the rest of you are keeping watch on the troglodytes.
Yes,
Yes,
if possible.
we're going to convince the troglodytes to stay here while we formulate a plan of invasion, well, a false plan.
Okay, so while Roscoe, Azael, and Sydrian approach the trogs, Tal, you rush out with all the scrolls and all the evidence you managed to gather and make haste back to Greenest. Roscoe, Azael, and Sydrian, you try to talk to the troglodytes and let them know, or basically, so you're trying to basically convince them or plan the invasion as a way to stall, to
Yes, exactly. We want to
Okay.
stall as much as possible so Tal could come back with
Great,
maybe a force or be ready.
Okay, so you start to basically pull them in to plan the attack, and you try to point all kinds of locations on the map, etc. But you think that the leader is he is obviously not here for that. He's here to plunder and loot and kill, and he becomes agitated and restless. I needed to make a persuasion roll to try and keep him at bay.
You want me to make the persuasion check?
Whoever is talking to him and explaining the details of the plan.
I think Roscoe is going to be doing a lot of talking since they already
Oh, I was
believe
going to
that
say,
Roscoe is
I was
the...
going to let you do it. I feel like when that's happening, I would explain to him, Azael is in charge of planning. He's the smart one. And then I'll just kind of go through the lower half of the corpse of the wizard and see if there's anything in his pockets.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'll
So
go ahead and roll.
okay, so as Roscoe is on his knees, Azael, you try to explain things to this huge Haslat, and as you talk, you think that he's getting more and more restless, and eventually you see him lay a hand on his huge black two-handed sword. Obviously, not very swayed by your talking.
What was the name of the person that is organizing this whole thing? Was started.
So
there you
the
go.
dead wizard
Rezmir?
said something about Kel Morath, and Rezmir is the name on the letter.
Okay, Kamarath.
Yeah. Tel, as you cover the distance faster and faster to Greenest, you descend the hill, ascend the hill, and eventually the town is just just over the next hill. You already see black columns of smoke. As you approach that last hill and ascend it, Greenest it now lies in full view. You can see that most of the buildings are on fire. There is a horde of, people or creatures around the city's temple, and a dragon swoops up from above and fire lightning straight at the keep. One of its towers explodes at the impact, sending debris and smoke everywhere. You can see a lot of people are running on the streets, seeking cover. Many of them are put to sword by those raiders. And I think we'll stop right here.
We are too late.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Do I find anything in the wizard's pockets?
You will. You do.
Okay.
But I will reveal the details next time, or not next time, but maybe I'll just send you a note.
Cool.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, I'll
This
document
was
everything.
quite a session. My gosh, it went in a totally unanticipated direction.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yes, I was already getting prepared with these troglodytes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the the restless troglodytes and Tal on the hill observing a dragon attacking Greenest. Should be interesting next time.
Fair enough.
Okay, guys. So thank you, and I'll update about experience points and equipment and the NPC list as usual. You can feel free to ask me anything, email or chat or whatever, and hopefully Mike will be able to make it for the next session next Friday.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the session.
Yes, thank you, Ido.
Yes, thank you very much. That was
Thanks, guys, and have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Yep.
Great, you too. Take care.
Bye bye.